Hey, I'm Amber from Lumos Layouts, and this is a tutorial on how to do Preppy text in Photoshop. Preppy text is usually seen on Preppy signs, but it can become useful on just about anything on a website, so it's helpful to know how to use it. In this tutorial, we'll be using two main patterns. The first one is going to be this really thin pinstripe pattern, and then the second one is going to be this thicker striped pattern. You can find both of these on my website under patterns if you don't already have them. And the first step is just to open your image or whatever you're going to type on. I'm just going to use a blank document so that you guys can see it better. You don't have to use the blank thing. You can type it wherever you want to on whatever graphic you want to. Just select the text tool and type what you want. I'm going to type Lumos because it's my site name. Pull it over to, drag it wherever you want. And the thing about this text is that usually it's pretty thin, but I have gone into the settings, which are up here, this little window that comes up over here, and bolded it. The first T of this little bar bolds your text. This is what it looks like without bolding, which I thought was kind of thin, so I wanted to make it a little bit thicker, so I just bolded it. You can do the same to your text, or you can choose not to, either way. And once you're done, just click on your layer and right click on your layer and duplicate it. You're going to want to duplicate this layer 2 times. So go ahead and do that. And now you have 3 copies of this text. On the very top copy, the first copy, you're going to want to double click and select 3 things: gradient overlay, pattern overlay, and stroke. Start with your stroke. Change the size to maybe about 2. And the color to a really light gray or white. I'm going to go with a really light gray and just click OK once you have the color you want, and go up to pattern overlay. On pattern overlay, we're going to use the first pattern, well, the second pattern that I mentioned, which is the thicker stripes. You're just going to select it and then go up to gradient overlay. On gradient overlay, you want to change the opacity to about 90 so that you can see the stripes that you just did in pattern. And you can see the gradient as well. So then just click in your gradient and select the one that you want. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one at the bottom. No, actually this one. And just hit OK when you have the one that you want. And then change the angle of that to 0, so that way it gives you a nice horizontal gradient across. When you're done changing these settings, just hit OK. Once you're done with that, go to the second copy, the middle copy of your text, double click it for blending options, and select stroke. For this one, you want the stroke to be at about 4, and you want it to be a darker stroke, something like a dark black. And once you have it, hit OK. And on the very bottom one, you're going to want to double click, again for blending option, and hit stroke and drop shadow. First thing you want to do is go back to stroke and make the stroke size 5 or even 6 if you want to. I'm going to make mine 5. Fill type needs to be pattern, and in this one we're going to use the first pattern I mentioned, which is the thin pinstripes. Once you've found those, click that, and this gives it sort of a dotted look on the edges. Once you do that, you're going to want to go back to drop shadow, change the distance to 0, and the spread, well, not the spread, but the size to about 10 or 12. For this one, I'm going to do 12. And once you have changed all of that, just hit OK. And that's pretty much your preppy text. Now, if you see anything on it that you don't like or that you want to change, you can always go back and change it. Just remember which layer it's on. Like, for example, I don't like the white outline or the light gray that I did, so I'm going to go back to the very top one because that was on the top layer, double click it for blending options, and change the stroke to a whiter color. I want it to be even lighter, like that. And again, hit OK when you're done. And if you need to make any changes to any of the other layers, just remember that they're all right there. And that's pretty much Preppy text. I'll probably be making more tutorials in the future on it, but for now, that's all. Hope it helped. See ya!